Hello, 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 hello. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, wow, okay. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hello. How is everyone doing today? Hello, I fixed it.
Okay.
Wait, can I ask you a question? You know when I do the other thing and then you turn off the Wi-Fi here? But you don't do that with this even though I'm plugged in?
Yeah.
Why?
You don't have to.
I know, but I did it and then it disconnected everything on accident.
Because it's fine.
Okay. Can you not all the way? I think is Mosley in here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry. How is everyone doing? No, I didn't get a new mic cord, and I thought my cat chewed it, but it's the other cord that my cat chewed. But I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna try not to touch it. But as long as you can hear me, then we're good. We're okay. But how's everyone doing? What's everyone reading currently? I feel like good luck not touching it. Just straight calling me out the first minute of the stream. Oh my goodness, did you hear that? Morella says, "It is my show. They came for me. What are you doing?" Is that true? I am good. I am good. I am good. Oh, nice. I haven't even started the deep. I have to be so honest. I'm gonna start it tomorrow. I really wanted to read this book, even though it has pretty low ratings. But I really wanted to read it. I am on this month. Oh, my glasses are so freaking dirty. I cannot see anything. All I want to read this month are okay. Desert books. So I read Senseless by Ronald Malfi. I read Death Valley by Melissa Broder. And then I really wanted to read this one because it's the only other desert book that I have. So I put off reading the deep even though I know I should have already read that one. But I will read it next week. Hold on, I can't see anything. Even though the computer is 2 feet in front of my face. Oh, that's not great. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, she's a very vocal cat. That is for darn sure. Wait, you're reading Agatha Christie? You come for the books but stay for Morella. I understand. See, that's what I feel like is hard with House of Leaves because I feel like you can get out of it whatever you put into it, and there's so many different things you can stop and read. But then I feel like the book would take you 1,000 years, you know? So the only thing that I've tried to look at, like I got stuck on something, so I Googled one part of it because I could tell something was up, but I couldn't figure it out. But yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard not to just Google every single page in House of Leaves. What does this mean, or what? You know, there's just so much going on. By the way, I am really enjoying House of Leaves. The first last months, I feel like I read it really fast and just zoomed through the pages. And this month I tried to read it a little bit slower and had a little bit more time to sit and analyze it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Finishing The Hollow Places. Let me see what that is. Okay, yes, I have seen this book cover. I thought it sounded familiar. Morella. Oh, nice. Reading 2 books. Hello. What's Vert? She's just gonna jump up and down all stream. Generation Loss. I always like looking up what everyone's. Wait, is this a book? Oh, there we go. Wait, is this what you're reading? Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. I have to be honest. I have to be so honest. Senseless was probably my like 5th or 6th favorite Ronald Malfi book. There was nothing wrong with it. It was still an interesting story, but I've come to enjoy Ronald Malfi as kind of having like a little bit more than there's a horror story, but then there's usually something underneath, a little bit more emotion, you know? And this one was like pretty much just a horror story, which is fine. And he said in the end of other books that it's obviously more challenging to write those types of stories, but those are my favorites of his. So Senseless wasn't my favorite. I would still say it's worth the read, but it's not. I'm not even sure if it makes the top 5. Let's see. Oh, I've never even heard of this Agatha Christie book, The Listerdale Mystery. She has so many books, it's crazy. Oh, it's a short story collection? Interesting. I have one from her, a short story collection called Seance that I really want to read. The Moat in God's Eye. Oh, this looks like a sci-fi. Yeah. First published in 1974. Sheesh. Very interesting. You guys are reading some interesting stuff. Oh, okay, so it's just called Vert. Oh no, I touched the mic. You're right, I can't not touch it. Oh, this one's science fiction too. Interesting. Marilla, are you looking so creepy? Oh, she is. She looks so creepy. Is it the stream a little blurry at all, or is it not blurry? She looks a little blurry to me, but I can't tell if the whole thing is blurry or if it's just her. Let me know. Oh, she's also sitting on the cord, so hopefully you can hear me too. Oh, nice. The Hunting Party. That's an interesting one. Ocean Horror. Oh, yes. Okay. From Below. That's a great one. Well, you're going on a cruise. If you're interested in thriller books, what's that one about? the woman in cabin 13, I think. In cabin, oh, 10. Oh yeah, okay, the woman in cabin 10. Ruth Ware. This is about a woman that goes on kind of like I can't remember if it's a cruise or a yacht. Oh, a luxury cruise ship. So that's one that's kind of specific to cruises. That might be fun. Does anybody else have any water type books? Oh, The Beast by the same author as Jaws. Can't remember his name right now. Peter Benchley. That's a fun one. I like that one more than Jaws, but oh, Blood Cruise. Empire of the Vampire. Wait, did I read that right? Yeah, of the Vampire. Interesting. That one sounds interesting. No, wait, your cat wants to be friends with my cat. That's so cute. Wait, that's adorable. Oh gosh, I don't know. It depends because obviously I want to tell you my favorite Ronald Malfi books to read, but then I feel like I don't know if you want to save those because they're the best ones. But my most favorite Ronald Malfi books are Blackmouth and Come With Me. But then he has some, like Bone White, is that what it's called? Yeah, Bone White and The Night Parade are both also really fun books. So I guess it just depends what you're looking for. Oh, same with Small Town Horror. That's a good one. Maybe Small Town Horror, because it's not my favorite book from his, but it's in my top 5 and it's still entertaining and fun. I think it gives you a good sense of him as a writer. Ah, okay. Am I blurry? It's supposed to autofocus, so I don't know. I don't know. Oh, The Meg, that's another great ocean one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's a great one. Actually, I think I did a whole book on, or a whole video on, I can't remember if it was just ocean or if it was summer reads. Oh, Sewer Sharks. Read Sewer Sharks. That book is so fun. If you want something kind of silly, that's a good one. Wait, that's so cool. They put up a statue of her and her dog, of Agatha Christie and their dog, on a bench to celebrate her in the town where she was born. That is neat. That is super neat. That's, you can't get better than that, being immortalized with your dog. That's wonderful. The Last One by Will Dean takes place on a cruise. That's another one. That sounds good. I haven't read that one though. Yeah, I like The Beast more than Jaws, if I'm honest. I know it's a little sacrilegious, but oh, The Fisherman. Oh, really? You weren't a huge fan of it, Richard. That is interesting because that is one book I feel like I am recommended The Fisherman more than like any other horror book. So that is quite interesting. I have not read The Buffalo Hunter yet. I haven't read anything from him, but I was gonna try to get to My Heart is a Chainsaw within the next few months. It seems like the people that I've talked to, some people, it seems like a love it or hate it type writer. So I don't know. Oh, I am a bit fuzzy. How can I fix that? Let me see if I can. Maybe my husband can come autofocus it. So this shelf is probably what it's focused on. He's probably playing a video game. It's probably going to take an hour for him to come in, but I can't focus it on myself. So I apologize if it's a little fuzzy. Yeah, I feel like most people I've heard talk about The Fisherman they've liked, but I think it's kind of now I can't remember the author that it's kind of like. Yeah, The Beast is a fun one. I actually really enjoyed that one. I did really like The Meg too. I know that some people hear The Meg and they think of the movie, but the book is actually, it tries to be serious. It's not like a silly book. It's about scientists who are trying to stop this megalodon that comes up from the Mariana Trench. No, I think my least favorite Ronald Malfi book is actually Ghost Written. It's just a few novellas put together, and he tried to. It says in the back that he put some stuff for his audience in there, but that was one of the first books I read from him, so I feel like I missed a lot in that one. And they're just novellas and they kind of come and connect back together, but I wonder if I would feel differently now that I've read a lot of his books, but no, I actually really enjoyed Snow. I know people were kind of felt whatever about it, but I thought it was a fine, fun little horror book from a decade ago, you know? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It's about vampires. But yeah, that's also a good one. I don't know how to say that though. Fevre. I don't know how to pronounce that book. I gotta look up Blood Cruise now. Yeah, that sounds like a perfect book to read on a cruise. Wait, DIY Exorcism? That's a book? Oh. I've never heard of this. It has good ratings. Gonna have to look into this one. Is it so funny? Because when I think of the name makes me think that it's a funny book, but the cover makes me think it's not a funny book. Oh, crab-like creatures. Clickers. I've never heard of that one. Oh, there also is a Ronald, or no, it's a Philip Fracassi book called Saculina, and it's about being on the water too. It's kind of like these barnacle monster creature things. Oh, it's just pronounced fever. Yeah, I thought snow was fun. Hello, welcome. Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe the fisherman won't be for everyone. Okay, question for you all before we get started. Let's do a little, wait, that's not it. Wait, what was that? Oh, I didn't even know this was a thing. It says start a Q&A, answer viewer questions live. I didn't know that was here, but I meant a poll. House of Leaves. I am just curious. I'm gonna start a poll. House of Leaves, yes or no? I just mean, are you interested in the House of Leaves discussion? Are you reading House of Leaves? Do you care about House of Leaves? That's what that means. I'm just curious because I don't have, I mean, I still have, we have time, but in a little bit, in like I think we're supposed to leave in like an hour and a half. We're going to pick up a new couch. So I just want to see how many people are here because of House of Leaves, or if people are more interested in like the reading sprints or talking about books or what. I just want to judge our time because, guys, I have so much to say about House of Leaves. This section, there's a lot going on. So let me know. It just sucks because I feel like we're not going to be able to get to everything on House of Leaves. There's just so much to discuss on every page, you know? It would be impossible. But surprisingly, it seems like most people are either interested in the discussion for it or are reading along with House of Leaves, which I wasn't expecting, I'll be honest. I mean, it'll still be a few hours, and I don't think it's imperative that we leave the second it hits 2 o'clock. But I just want to make sure I have enough time. I don't want to do a bunch of reading sprints and then only have like 30 minutes to talk about House of Leaves because I think there's a lot to discuss in this one, and I have a lot of questions, and I want to see what you guys think about it. And it's been cool on Discord having a place to kind of shoot ideas back and forth, because then we can be like, hey, did you get the same idea for this? And then, I don't know. I think that that's an easier way to digest it little by little. But with streams like this, it's going to be a little bit hard. But I guess that's why we're doing a million of them, right? Okay, I'm actually surprised by how many people are interested in House of Leaves. So that is good. So my next question for you guys, do you guys want to chat or do you guys want to do reading sprints? You can just type and let me know what you prefer. Because I'm here for you, whatever you guys want to do. You want to read, we can read. You want to talk, we can talk. You want to stare at Morella for an hour, you can stare at her. Yeah, Sakulina is like it's like a little novella, and it's more about grief than anything, but chat sprints, both chat and sprints. Okay. We can do both. That's fine with me. I know, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking now that House of Leaves is getting so intense, maybe we do reading sprints, just reading sprints, and then maybe we do just a House of Leaves discussion. What do you guys think? Next month. Okay. DIY exorcism is not a comedy. It sounds like it would be. Sometimes I think books are going to be funny and then they end up not being, but I just get this idea in my head. Hello, welcome. Okay. So yeah, we'll talk and then we can do some reading together. That's totally fine too. Okay, then maybe we'll break it into 2 separate things next time. And I guess, okay, so that'll be good. So if we don't get to everything today, then we'll do just a completely separate House of Leaves discussion next month. And if we don't get to whatever we don't finish today, we can talk about next time. And then we'll also talk about the next section as well. Does that sound good? And then do you guys still want a live stream of just reading sprints too next month? Or do you just want House of Leaves? I honestly am surprised. I didn't think that this many people would be interested in House of Leaves. I thought it was just a few of us reading along. No, I forgot to read. You guys are going to kill me. I forgot to read the letters in the appendix. I just finished the pages. I waited too long to read it. And then I just finished last night up to page 152 where we said we were going to stop. And then I went, oh my gosh, the letters. So I still have to read the letters. There's still a few things that I have to read, actually. I didn't read What's this? Oh, I still have a few of the bits to read in the back. Not too many, just a few pages of bits. I still have some of these. I think these are poems to read. I didn't read all of these. And then I still have the letters, which I obviously really need to go and get done because I already had to Google why there was a check mark at the bottom of one page, and I think it had to do with the letters and I missed it. So yeah, I'm an idiot and I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, I'll make sure that's done for next month for sure. Okay, so it sounds like you guys are interested in both. That's fine. We can do live streams on Sundays and just have it almost every Sunday. I'm cool with that. And also we also do reading sprints on Patreon too. So for anybody who wants more reading sprints, we do live streams over there as well. Yeah, and that's completely what I forgot about. So I was making my pages to read each day, doing the math for the pages to read each day to make sure that I got finished before the stream. And then I get to the end and I'm like, oh wait, there's a huge chunk of letters that I just didn't take into account. But I did get sucked in this month and I'm really excited to discuss everything with you guys. Okay, so yeah, I definitely got to make sure I do that. Oh, Richard, I forgot to post the I gotta write that down. I don't have a paper around here. I have to post the category that we picked yesterday for movie night, so then everyone can write their suggestions. But no, I haven't. And yeah, shoot, it's the end of the month soon. I gotta do that like today. Clear paper somewhere. Oh. Okay, can use this. Okay. This freaking, I gotta get a new desk. Everything's so squeaky. Like every time I move, this chair too. Anyway, I know. How did this happen? How is it June? Guys, how is it June? I was just thinking, I'm like, every year I usually break up I do my favorite or ranking of all the books that I've read in June. I'm like, how is it already here? How? This doesn't make any sense. I know this year has flown by. Okay, well then I forgot to bring my iPad so you can see how much time we have left for reading sprints, but let's at least get 1 or 2 reading sprints done and then we'll conquer House of Leaves together. So should I grab my iPad so you can see? Maybe I could do it. No, my phone's gonna go black, I think. Yeah, and I feel like I've had a pretty mediocre reading month this month. Nothing's been too great. Okay, let me grab my iPad so you guys can see how much time we have left for reading. 1 second. Okay. Anyways, all right. Let me set up a timer. Where is the timer. I always think that we'll have enough time and then we end up talking a lot, which is not a bad thing. I'm totally fine with it, but time just flies by when doing these lives. I just asked Brian yesterday. I said, because actually this is kind of ridiculous, but I just took down I mean, not Christmas decorations, but I had a few winter decorations up. Like I had a winter wreath up and this little snowman guy still out. And yesterday I said, Brian, I think it's time. It's like 90 degrees outside. I think we need to get rid of the winter stuff. It's summer now. But I asked him, I said, when is it too early to start putting up the fall decorations? In my poor wallet. I know, I know, I know. I'm gonna have to do it. My brother's coming to visit, so he's gonna be staying in my office, which, Richard, you know that I need to clean my office. um, so after that, I'll probably do the ranking video because then I have to lay out all my books and then I take it very seriously. And I sit there and compare the books and I'm like, wait, which of these did I like more if they have the same score? It takes me a long time, so after he comes and stays with me, I'll do that. I mean, here. You're supporting me here by showing up and hanging out. But there's also Patreon if you want more stuff, more videos, more live streams, more we have like a chat thing. What do you call it? Discord? Eddie Crane. I'm more of an Eddie Crane fan myself. You know? Yeah, I don't blame you. I do love me some Eddie, that's for sure. I don't think I've ever decorated for Halloween in summer. I mean, I don't really decorate that much. If I'm honest, I just put up a few things. Um, what video, Richard? The was that when I was trying to get rid of a few books? Is that what the video was? I don't even remember. They all kind of blurred together. Okay, so reading. I should be reading the House of Leaves letters, but I feel like with that one, I can't just sit down for 30 minutes and just skim through. You know what I mean? I feel like I gotta sit and have at least an hour or two to sit and analyze that. So I'm gonna be reading The Last Session by Julia Bartz. I have about 100 pages. I'm gonna try to read this guy, finish it today. Oh, the year ranking. Yeah. Yeah, I do enjoy those videos, but they do stress me out because I spent a lot of time trying to figure out which book I like more. And I feel like most of this, honestly, most of this year I've read some, they've been fine, but I haven't read any books I feel like that changed my life yet. So hopefully those are to come, but we'll see. Okay, let's get at least 30 minutes of reading done. At least. And then we can talk about House of Leaves or chat about books or whatever. 30 minutes on the clock. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Oh no. Oh no. Bruh. What is happening? Okay. You probably can't even read that. I feel like it's too far. I don't know where else to put it though. Can you read it here? Well, okay, that's better. That's better. You can see that. Okay, 29 minutes and 20 seconds of reading. Okay, and we're back. You guys can hear me, right? I had to move the thing, so hopefully you can hear me. I do look very serious when I'm reading. Sometimes I catch myself and I'm like staring so intensely at a book. Okay. How did everyone's reading go? You guys are funny. Yeah. I'm not very good at reading sprints because I do read very slowly. They should be reading walks. Okay, cool. I know, isn't she so cute? I don't know why, but for whatever reason, she really likes being in this room. Marilla. She's not a super cuddly cat, but when I'm in here, and sometimes for movie nights on Patreon, sometimes she'll come and cuddle with me, but mostly when I'm reading, specifically in this chair. Okay, I still have a bit to read of that left. There's so much to talk about. Oh wow, there's so much to talk about. Okay. Where do we begin with House of Leaves, guys? I don't even know. Okay. Okay. So last time we talked about House of Leaves. By the way, if anybody doesn't want to have any spoilers for House of Leaves, now would be a good time to tune out because we'll be talking about pages 80 through 152, but we're going to go in order. But also, I don't know, can you spoil this book? Because I feel like I guess there are some things that could be spoiled. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Well, anyway. So we started chapter 7, yeah. And cat hair everywhere. We are introduced to well, I guess we should backtrack. So far the story has been about this house. It's owned by this, I don't know, is he a photographer? He's a director. But anyways, he owns this house with his family, and the inside of the house measures larger than the outside of the house. There are certain areas in the home that just appear like a door with long corridors in it. The owner of the house goes into it and realizes that the inside of the house is changing. So he'll go in and turn left, for example, and then when he turns around, he can't follow that same route back out. So in chapter 7, we're introduced to Holloway Roberts, Jed, and Kirby Wax Hook, but I think they just call him Wax in the book. So these 3 guys are hired. They're basically like, what do you call that? Someone help me out here. Where you cave dive? What's the word? Oh my gosh, what's that called? Oh, not cave diving. Cave. Oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot think of this word. Somebody help me out. Oh, thank you. Yeah, wait, how do you pronounce that? Why is my brain not working? Holy crap. How do I say this word? I even slept last night, guys. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why my brain cannot pronounce this. No, this dictionary app is not helping me out. Okay, but you guys get what I'm talking about. cave dwellers. They go into caves and they explore. So they hire these three people because the owner of the house, his name's Navi, right? Yeah. The owner of the house, his wife does not want him to go in. So she kind of wants him to be more domesticated, stop doing his work, stop doing the exploring, and just be a dad and a husband. So he hires these cave people to go in and see what they can find in the house. Okay. Is this the SOS chapter? No, right? No. Okay, that's the next chapter. We also, it's weird too because sometimes in the middle of a chapter, it'll tell you to go read a different chapter. And then I'm like, do I go and read that whole chapter or I don't know. It's weird, but so, anyways, Karen is Navi's wife, and she's had some infidelity issues in the past. And there's also definitely some beef between Holloway and, is it Navi or Navi? Navidson. Maybe it's Navi. Do you guys, when you read it in your head, do you pronounce it Navi or Navi? Anyways, there's issues between the two men because the owner of the house, that's kind of his whole life, is he's been an explorer and either photographer or a film guy, a director. And he feels definitely some jealousy for Holloway that he gets to go explore something that he feels is his own. And then Holloway just thinks that he just wants to be in charge, basically. He doesn't want anyone telling him what to do. So anyways, our main guy, Navi, he's trying to be what his wife needs and let these other guys do it. But it is challenging for him. For me, it seems a little bit like in this sense, the house is a little bit a metaphor for his loss of freedom and loss of exploration. And now he's only stuck within the four walls of his home as opposed to being able to explore the mystery of life, you know? Oh, Navy, like the military. Interesting. Wait, really? You guys all pronounce it Navy? So do you pronounce it? Oh, that, I guess that is how they spell it. I was just thinking because it's, well, now I don't know, but either Navidson. So I was pronouncing it Navi. But yeah, that makes sense. Anyways, okay, so yeah, so there's issues between these dudes. Let's see what else. We know that his wife Karen thrives on attention, even if that is from other men. Okay, I don't know why I wrote bottom of that page. This is something interesting in the book. Some of these, maybe I can find it for you guys if you guys are interested, but the sources listed at the bottom in the footnotes, some of them are real sources and some of them are fake sources. So I'm curious why you think the author chose that. Do you think it's just kind of to add to the confusion of the story, I guess, because you don't really know what's real and what's fake, especially because we're so removed from this house in general that we don't quite know what's real or not. But I found it interesting. Some of the sources are real, some of them are fake. Some, the authors are real, but the books are fake. And so it's just this interesting mixture of reality and fiction. So Navidson. So, oh, interesting. Okay. Huh. Oh, I'm sorry you have to work. That is a bummer. But I promise we'll have a million of these. Um, and I don't know if we'll get to everything today, so. What do you mean, what's with the Niles t shirt? You don't like it? What's wrong with my Niles t shirt? But there is one Reddit, if you search it, where he tells you there's a list. I don't know if it's a he, but there's a list of every source that is fiction and every source that is made up. So I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, I didn't even realize that some of these sources were real or not. It just seems like so much more work incorporating both fiction and reality into. Oh, okay, good. You like Frasier. Good, good, good. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of what the whole story is based on, is a little bit of fiction, a little bit of reality. But I thought that was interesting. I just wrote page numbers and I didn't write a whole lot of Oh, okay, so this is interesting. It's something that this author used to do. So you felt like it was paying homage to him? Homage to him? Homage. My brain is not working with words today, but that is really, really interesting. And he's rated famous for writing about mazes. So that makes perfect sense. So that's another cool layer that I didn't know. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mary. Mary likes my Niles t shirt. Yeah, I'm, I enjoy Frasier. What can I say? Okay, so then we have these explorations that go into the house. So we have exploration number one. This is basically where they're just testing what's going on. They take 2 miles of line with them because, like I said, the pathways change. So they can't just walk in and expect to know how to walk out. They have to be prepared. So they go in. And again, we're seeing this through the perspective of a blind man describing tapes. So it's also like, how does, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really know what actually is going on, but this is what we're told. So we do have video of these people going in. Or I guess they could be accounts. I guess we're not 100% sure if they're video or not, right? I mean, sometimes it tells you explicitly, but sometimes not. Like it says they enter the hallway and they are equipped with cameras. It's eerie to watch Holloway disappear. And then outside, Karen paces. And it says that she paces back and forth in the light of September day, oblivious of the space she repeatedly crosses through for whatever reason, but for whatever reason cannot penetrate. So it's basically she's walking where these people should be exploring. I thought that that was an interesting kind of visual to get. But yeah, for whatever reason the house, it just doesn't, the dimensions don't make sense. Yeah, so that's another thing. This is a good comment. And while there's a lot of fake sources, I do think that every detail has a hidden meaning. I'm positive that it does, but it's also difficult because you can't stop on every single footnote and be like, what is the meaning of this? What could you know what I mean? It would be impossible. I could probably read this book 100 times and still find new things. So I think that that's cool. And I think that you do get out of the story what you're putting into it. So if you want to read it as just a base level spooky story, you can do that. If you want to take the time and go on all these little tangents, you can do that as well. So I think that's why I'm enjoying it reading slowly, because I think that there's a lot of things that we'll pick up and help each other out with. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally understand. Yeah, for sure. If you catch up to where we are, then we'll see you for the next live, maybe. Okay, well, this is a good question. What is the scariest ghost slash house book you all have read? The scariest book that I have read is it's supposedly a true story. Hold on, let me Google what it's called. It's called Haunted. Here, let me put it in here. And this author actually sent it to me. This is what it's called. Haunted Horror of Haverford West. It's a book by G.L. Davies. So he actually sent me this book, and he writes nonfiction stuff, and it's a true account of a haunting that he personally experienced. And then after he published it, this couple reached out to him and said, "Hey, I know what house you lived in because all of those things happened to us too." So then he interviewed that couple. So half of the book is the couple's interaction with this ghost, and then half of it is his interaction with this ghost. And it is super terrifying. I don't know if I'm like a ghost believer, but that book is very creepy to read. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good thing to say. Yes, everything is definitely intentional in this book. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's something Brian was asking me. Could you just read the story? And I'm like, yeah, you can read it a million different ways. You can just read one account, you can just read the other account, you can go on these tangents. You know, like no one's going to have the same experience reading it, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah. I'm honestly excited for like my second, third read because I feel like I'll pick up so much more. Richard, on just my regular YouTube channel, I have a book haul that I've been working on for like ever that I really need to post. Or are you talking about Patreon video? Okay, so they go into this place. The ceilings are 200 feet high. They run out of this 2 mile length of fishing wire. They realize that all the walls have shifted. Whatever, they make it back. Now we have exploration number 2. They bring 4 spools of fishing wire. They bring flares and neon markers to mark their way. They're also learning how to, collect samples as well. They do hear a growl once, but the shifts that they experience, it says, are negligible. So nothing major happens. They enter what they call the Great Hall. They find a staircase. It's over 200 feet in diameter and it spirals down. Yeah. Okay. And then it becomes obvious why Karen doesn't want him to go down. She's worried. You know, they have kids now, they have 2 kids, and she thinks that his most important job is being a father and a husband and not exploring like he once did. Then they go on exploration number 3. They walk down this staircase for 7 hours and they never find the end. That's crazy. Oh yeah, I was gonna read that poem, but oops, sorry, I hit the mic. Okay, then we have our Johnny guy going off on a bit of tangents here. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So, what was that? Page 86. Oh, okay. It says here that the experience is beyond the power of any high 8 or 35 millimeter camera. They're talking about the spiral staircase. And I just wrote that not only does it put Holloway as the leader, but it also takes away the only way that Navi can experience it. So there's definitely like a power struggle between the two. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the Patreon video, but the next one on YouTube will be a book haul. I've it's gonna be a very long video. Okay, so then wait, read quote and read the meaning. What does that mean? I should have taken better notes. The quote, what quote? What am I talking about? Hello. Oh, the quote of the poem. I don't know if that matters. I mean, it matters, but so there's a quote in the poem that says, but here within this thick black pelt, your strongest gaze will be absorbed and utterly disappear. And then this says that it describes the effects of a black cat's present on a person's gaze. The cat's fur acts as a powerful absorber, taking in and seemingly swallowing up the most intense, penetrating look. So it's just what was quoted. I think it's obviously about the darkness in the cave. Then we get on to my favorite chapter thus far, my friends. The SOS chapter. This one was a roller coaster. This is where I was like, oh, this book is awesome. Okay, yeah, that's actually a good question because probably some people haven't started House of Leaves yet. So basically, it's a story about it's like so removed. Okay, it's about a guy. He moves into this guy's house that has passed away and he finds these papers that he has written, okay? The guy's name is, see, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong or incorrectly, differently than you guys do, but his name's like Zampano or something. Zampano wrote this text, this House of Leaves text. It was about this film, about this house that the interior is larger than the exterior. So you have one part of the story that's Zampano's description of the story, and then you have the guy that moved into his house, Johnny, his comment on reading what Zampano wrote. So it's kind of like two stories in one, and they're separate, but they also are together as well. Yes. Yeah, The Descent. Yeah. That movie I did think of that movie actually during when these guys were doing their cave thing. Okay, so the SOS chapter. Let's get into it. Okay, yeah, so there is a check mark at the bottom. I think that has to do with the letters to his mom. I will have to come back with that. Then you have Navi filming his perspective, which I thought was kind of interesting. In this one, we don't see the people in the cave at first, we just see him. And I was wondering if that's it's like him validating his importance in all of this as well. By the way, both of them think that they're going to become like famous from this house too. That's maybe an important thing to note. So this chapter, it starts with the word SOS, okay? Then you have this SOS on the top of the page. It's 3 dots, 3 lines, 3 dots. That's what SOS is. I'm not sure why the size in dots varies. I know that that's there for a reason. Haven't figured that out yet. There are also breaks between paragraphs, so there's probably a larger message in here as well. Not 100% sure about that. However, when I got to Johnny's footnotes, I was like, something weird is going on here. The way it was broken up, I could tell that it was some sort of SOS. Okay, so this footnote is about the word fuck. He's talking about, I think maybe like his surprise that Zampano uses the word fuck, because it seems to be more of like a scholarly text. So anyways, that's what the footnote is about. It's about Zampano using the word fuck. Then you have, and this is something that might, oh no. No, I would not like to update now, computer. Thank you. This is something that might, I don't know if it's going to ruin anything for you, but it's going to give something away. So, keep that in mind. But basically, you have this section here is where the footnotes start. And then you have this section of footnotes here too. And you can tell that they're broken up by different dots. So you have like whole dots, and then you have an open dot. So that's where you can tell that there's some sort of break. So basically what our narrator does when he's talking about the word fuck is he's spelling out the letters of fuck in Morse code. And then at the very bottom of the page, he uses the word fuck to spell SOS, which is the title of the chapter and kind of what this entire chapter is. It's like an SOS for the family. It has an SOS in it. It's like an SOS around an SOS around an SOS. So in the very last thing he says, fuck, 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 fuck you, fuck me, fuck this, fuck, 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 which is, dot, 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 line, 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 dot, dot, dot. Which I thought was quite clever, and I had a lot of fun uncovering this. And I thought that was really awesome that you could just sit and figure out puzzles in the middle of this book, So that's what I'm saying. If you read this chapter and you don't figure out that he's spelling out fuck, is it going to change anything for you? No, it's not going to, it's going to change your experience of reading the text, but it's not going to change the text for you. But you put in, or you get out of the book what you put in. So if you spend the time spelling out fuck and finding these little things that are hidden in there, then it's, it's like your own little puzzle game too. So I thought that was so fun. I'm like, that was awesome. And I guarantee there are 100 more things like that I have not figured out. And so I'm excited to read this book multiple times to figure out things like that. Oh, that's interesting. The director of The Descent is from your city. Nope, not scholarly, just can't see. Oh gosh, that's funny. Okay, okay, and read the pictures and screenshots from the 21st. Where? Okay, then I found this. It's just somebody's interpretation of this chapter. It says it's a chapter themed around the concept of SOS. The chapter title is SOS. Its contents and structure its content is structured as an SOS, and its subject is a segment of a film that is themed around the concept of SOS and structured as an SOS. And then the footnotes are themed around the concept of SOS and include the structure of an SOS as well. So yeah, it's just... I was so impressed by this. I was like, this is just so neat that somebody could sit and think of doing this, So cool. So cool. Yes, I have read We Used to Live Here, and I hadn't read this before I read that, and now I see the influence for this. I see the influence, I think, from Paul Tremblay's horror story, like now, or horror movie, whatever it's called. Now I'm going back and rethinking about all these horror books that I'm like, oh, this is where it all started. This is where they got this. So kind of cool. Yeah, and how or We Used to Live Here is kind of like a modern day version of this, kind of taking this and using it and putting it on the internet, making it more, I don't want to say relevant because this book's still relevant, but you get what I'm saying, making it more modern. House of Leaves, yes, yeah. Okay, so okay, does anybody know why there is a size difference in the Morse code though? Why are there little dots and big dots? This has to mean something, but I don't know what. I also honestly think that the breaks in the chapters probably mean something too, or the paragraphs, because from what I can tell, it's only the SOS chapter that has dots between paragraphs. So there is probably also a larger message in here as well that I have not uncovered. We have a little bit of an Morse code on page 102 and 103 as well. They're not full SOS messages though, so I don't exactly know what these are for either. Then we have the one on 103. It says so question mark. And then again, we have Johnny doing his thing where I can tell that he's following the same structure as he did before. This is the one that took me an hour, by the way. I was trying to decipher this for an hour. And it turns out that he was spelling buttons. So then the last word is so, and then he spells out buttons. So again, does this change anything about the book? Like, does sew buttons mean anything? I mean, I don't think it's going to change the story in general, but it just kind of changes your experience with it, and a fun little thing. But that did frustrate the crap out of me when I was trying to spell buttons because I kept spelling it wrong. I'm like, this is not a word. It took forever. Yeah, that's so cool. That's so neat. And how awesome to be the person that can make something this unique. Like, how long did this book take to it took me an hour to use Morse code to decipher the word buttons. How long did it take to write this chapter? And it's cool that each chapter kind of has its own theme. So SOS was that theme, and then this next theme is the labyrinth. Okay. 102 to 106. Yeah, we got buttons. Okay. 107. I thought that this was interesting. It says Zampano, which now I don't know what that little line over the O means, so I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. It says Zampano likes to obscure the secondary sources he's using in order to appear more versed in primary documents. I thought that was kind of interesting. So we don't really get a lot of Zampano's character, at least we get a little bit in the beginning, and we get to see the state of his house that he left it in when he died, but we don't really know much about him. So it's kind of interesting to get these little things from Johnny about his character. Although, can we trust Johnny? I don't know, because Johnny's descending into madness as we speak. So anyway, we also get this from Johnny. I had trouble walking out the door. Things are definitely deteriorating. Even reaching for the latch made me feel sick to my stomach. I also experienced this awful tightening across my chest, my temples instantly registering a rise in pulse rate. And then he says he found himself absolutely terrified. So he's becoming more agoraphobic, and we discussed last time how he was seeing things and fearful of things, smelling things that weren't there. And it seems like because of reading the text, this is happening to him. So was this happening to Zampano? I don't know. I guess you could make an argument for that. But I guess there were people that did have interactions with him. So I'm not really sure. But kind of interesting that the more he reads the text, the more he gets sucked into it, the more we learn about his past. And also the more his life begins to deteriorate, like he says. 10 years writing the book? 10 years. Brian opened it to one of the pages that were all, sideways and upside down and stuff. And he's like, this editor must have hated him. I was like, yeah, it was probably a freaking headache to format. But yeah, what a unique, fun read. And then I'm like, how? That was only 100 pages in. We still have like 600 pages to go. How? How? What more is there to uncover, It's crazy. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Anyway. Okay, 107. Wait, 107? Oh, yes. So we have these quotes about labyrinth, how do you say, what's a multiple labyrinth? Labyrinths. Okay, where are these quotes? Oh, okay. Here is the toil of the house and the inextricable wandering, the house difficult to exit, difficult to enter, fragments of, oh wait, that's not a quote. Okay, yeah, so this is all about the labyrinth. It's also interesting that these are all in Latin, right? And there's a ton of Greek mythology in here as well, which will come in a moment. Oh, another thing. So I don't know if you guys have the book with you. Another thing that's interesting. Last time we pointed out this picture in the back, which I will bring up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this picture here. And then on this side over here, we have these symbols. And it came up once or twice in the last chapter, but now it's really picking up. So you kind of have these symbols everywhere. And they're like this one, it looks like the letter K, and it says indicate direction to proceed. And then it's all about a labyrinth. So again, if you didn't go back and look at what those symbols meant, would it change anything? Not necessarily, but it is kind of interesting to just see why those symbols were there or why you think that they were there, It's just interesting. The symbols are related to something about planes. No, I can't remember, but I wonder if I can remember just by looking at it. Probably not, but it had something to do with airplanes. Oh, ground air emergency codes is what it says. So that's also interesting. I didn't realize they were emergency codes. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, Labyrinth 109 refers to page 582. What the fuck does that mean? Refers to page 582. I don't know. Hello? Okay. Note to self, take better freaking notes next time because I have no idea. Did I miss one? I have no idea what that means. Not understood. I did miss one. Oh no, I put it down there. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, so this is on page 109 is the first time that we read the word labyrinth, I think. And then we get that red print with the line through it, which I think we were right because we talked about how that Greek myth with well, we'll run into him in a second, but how there's a red string to lead you through the maze. I think we're right, and I think that's why it's red, and I think that's why it's crossed out. So, I don't know. Maybe there's do you guys have other ideas for that? Or do you think that that's probably what it indicates? Yes, Johnny's father was a pilot. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely some connection there for sure. And it's also interesting that we're kind of using the codes that would relate to Johnny's life for these emergency codes throughout the story. I don't know, it's all so interesting. And also, does that make sense? So did Zampano put those codes in or did Johnny put those codes in? Oh, that was Johnny. Maybe they're all related to Johnny and that would make more sense, I suppose. I hadn't thought of that. So then, yeah, that would make total sense then. So he's using his own, something that he's familiar with to kind of label the story. Anyways, then we go on this whole thing about the Greek myth, the Minotaur, and I'll put something interesting though that I hadn't considered because I did have to read that in college, but we never analyzed it like this. But it said that, so he imprisoned this monster, but this hypothesis, which I believe is from Zampano, maybe he uses other sources, I'm not sure, but it says that he did not build the labyrinth to imprison a monster, but to conceal a deformed child, his child. And there were rumors that the youth were fed to the Minotaur, but they actually, in reality, maybe only starved to death inside the labyrinth. And it says that his maze really serves as a trope for repression, which I'm sure means something, but I don't have the brain power to think about that right now. There's also things too, like on page 110, there are footnotes, 124, and it's crossed out, the line goes through it, but 126 and 127, the line is under it. So like you said, there aren't mistakes made in the book. I think that's intentionally done. I just, for the life of me, don't know why. But you know what I mean? Like I could spend an hour trying to figure out why there's one line through this footnote that's different than through another footnote. Do you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about that too, Richard. I'm like, I don't know if there's any other book like this. We can definitely read longer books, but I don't know if there's anything that's going to be as involved in this. This might be like a one-time thing, which is such a bummer because it's so fun. And I also don't know how nobody's written anything like it, you know? Well, I guess it takes 10 years. Maybe that's why then. All right, so we got the Minotaur thing. Oh, I should also state though that the red lines that are crossed out was what Zampano tried to scratch from the record or something like that. Oh. Oh, yeah, okay. That's what it says. That's one of the footnotes. Oh yeah. Struck passages indicate what Zampano tried to get rid of, but which I, with a little bit of turpentine and a good old magnifying glass, managed to resurrect. So supposedly it's what he had decided against including. Don't know if that's good enough reason, or maybe there's another idea. Don't know. I thought it was, when I first started reading it, my thought was that anything kind of related to a labyrinth or this Minotaur was crossed out, but it turns out to be stuff that's not even related to that. So not sure why, but I guess also if we're taking on the analogy that it's this red thread that's leading us through this maze, then maybe these parts are even more important. I don't know. It's a good question. Oh, interesting, Nat. I have never read War and Peace, so I have no idea what the connection is there. Oh yeah, that would be a fun one too. Yeah, you're right, Richard. We could definitely read longer texts that we can analyze. It's just not going to be exactly like this, but that doesn't mean we can't do it. And yeah, so yeah, since it is a more challenging read, maybe breaking it into smaller portions and talking about it would be beneficial. It's possible. I have not read S. But I think we did talk about a few books that seemed kind of similar to this. I don't know, maybe there are some books that we can find. Oh yeah, why did I write this? Refers to page 582. I have no idea why I wrote that. I don't know. Okay. Oh, I think this is... No, that's not it. Pages... Oh, also the word labyrinth. It says that the Latin labor is akin to the root labi, meaning to slip or slide backwards. We cannot relax within these walls. We have to struggle past them. I also thought that that was kind of interesting because it can also be kind of a metaphor for Navi falling back into his old ways, you know, wanting to explore this, wanting to kind of leave behind the promises that he made to his wife. And you can tell throughout this whole thing, he's just like, let me go in there, you know, like that's who he is fundamentally as a person. He just wants to explore this something that's his, you know. And it's also interesting too because he talks about how he originally got famous. It was a picture that he took of a dying young girl or something that won the Pulitzer or whatever. And he talks about his guilt with that, you know, instead of going to her and aiding her, he took a picture and won a prize and got famous for it. And so it's kind of interesting that he feels like this is his own. Maybe in a way it feels redeeming to him that he would be able to become successful on something that was his alone and didn't necessarily harm someone else in the making. So guilt could also play a role in that as well. Oh, and then there's this weird story about Johnny and the dog. Did you guys read this part? Infinite Jest. Oh God, I don't know about that. Every college professor that I had in college walked around with Infinite Jest, and I just rolled my eyes every time I saw it. I'm like, relax, guys. Oh, you're saying, okay, I thought you were saying that it related to this book, War and Peace. I mean, yeah, these are all ones that, yeah, you guys, we can definitely do this after. We can talk on, like Patreon can decide the next long book that we take on. We can definitely do that. I thought you were relating to this book. I'm like, I don't know, I've never read that. I have no idea what that's about. Okay, S is a book found in a library with annotations written back and forth between two students. Interesting. There are a lot of those loose letters and postcards and photos tucked into the pages. That sounds so fun. Yeah, that's definitely one to look into too. Hello, welcome. Oh, okay, another one. The Raw Shark texts. Only it's not supposed to be as good. Interesting. I mean, if you guys want to, we can try Infinite Jest, but that's gonna be... I don't know, maybe it'll be easier after reading something like this. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, the dead dog. Guys, what the fuck? What the fuck was this story? So for those of you who haven't read it, Johnny goes on this whole tangent. Is this where we go forward in time? Or do we just read this one? I think we might go forward in time and we're reading a future chapter, and Johnny's talking about how he met a girl and they found a dog, a little stray dog, and he wanted to take it home, and the girl was like, no, I have a house, let me take it home. So he's kind of apprehensive, but he lets her take it. She drops him off at his house, and as she's driving away, she chucks this dog out the window and kills it. You guys know how I am about dogs. I did not like this scene. I did not like this chapter. But I was like, why is this in here? What does this have to do anything? I know it has something to do, but I was racking my brain. I'm like, why is this happening. And, okay, I think it was this one. Tom's story as well as footnote 249. I think that's what it was, footnote 249. $300. Anyways, if I remember correctly, oh no, this is the 249. This is the one that, oh yeah, maybe it was this. Yes, the girl's name was Johnny, spelled differently. But then I was like, is he saying he did that? Does anybody know what is up with the Johnny and the dead dog story? Does anybody have theories on this? Please enlighten me. I just wrote, why read the story of the dead dog, question mark. I don't know. But I was thinking maybe that's his way of, I don't know, but then he was with his friend and his friend saw the girl, so I don't know. Yeah, The Stand, that's a good one. Yeah, well, yeah, I feel like probably most of these will be a little bit different. But yeah, it depends what you guys want to do. We could do a classic or horror or whatever. And I think we actually might finish this sooner than I thought, because it is like 700 pages, but by the time you get to the end, you finished a lot of the back pages. So I don't know if we'll be reading this all the way to December or not. So did Johnny kill the dog? I just need to know. Johnny, did you kill the dog? I'm going to be pissed. Because at first you read it and you're like, oh, he just wanted to save the dog. And then I was thinking, wait, why was the girl's name Johnny? And then I'm like, was he trying to tell us that he was the one that killed it? Yeah. Yeah, Johnny is a character, that's for damn sure. And a lot of what he says is so rambly that it's hard to sit and decipher the meaning of what he's trying to say. It's very all over the place. Yes. Yep. So much of his story is unreliable because of his trauma, and there's so much that pulls on the letters from his mom. Okay, so maybe I'll get a more clear understanding. Wait, so do you think he killed the dog? Do you think Johnny killed the dog? Or do you think that he actually met a girl that killed the dog? I need to know, because I need to know if I have to hate him or not. Oh, yeah, so I thought the word labyrinth was interesting, kind of like Navi sliding back into his old ways. And then you have this line over here that says, all solutions then are necessarily personal. And I thought that this was cool because it's kind of, I feel like, an author's way of being like, hey, however you read this book, it's your own personal journey. It's how you're experiencing it. It's what you're going to find. And I thought that was kind of neat. It also says, this is what happens when you hurry through a maze. The faster you go, the worse you are entangled. And I thought that was also interesting too, because that's how you feel reading the book as well. Like the faster you go through it, the less you're gonna understand, I guess? I don't know. Why did I highlight Appendix F? Various quotes. Oh, I didn't even look at the chapter. Okay, or the page number. Various quotes, 645. I don't know why I highlighted this. Oh, there's music back here. I didn't even see that. So what did I say? 645? 6. Bruh. When it says that, when it says various quotes, are you just supposed to... Oh, yeah, it just says... Oh, yeah. Okay, it says, for some reason, I had with me a little bit Zampano wrote about Natasha. See Appendix F. And then you go to Appendix F, and there's nothing about anyone named Natasha. I have no idea what this is talking about. It's just quotes from... like a lot of scholarly like works that are in the literary canon, you know, Paradise Lost by John Milton and Homer's, what is it, the Iliad, or yeah, the Iliad, stuff like that. And then you have, you know, Sylvia Plath and blah 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 blah. So I don't know what the heck that's there for. I don't know. I should probably leave a note. Maybe I will read through these again and see if I can find anything. Wait. This isn't even in flippin' English. Am I gonna have to... Gosh darn it. He didn't put the English? Oh. No. Yes, he did. Okay, good. Let me put a little thing here. Oh, I didn't bring my post-it notes. Dang it. Oh. I have a lot to catch up on. This random little side quest stuff. Okay. Oh, was there even a dog to begin with? Such a good question. Johnny might be your new Heathcliff. No, I don't hate him. Well, I guess if he did hurt a dog, then I wouldn't be too happy with him, that's for certain. But he's got some stuff going on, you know? Heathcliff was just a psychopath. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes you're like, why is he telling us this? Sometimes it makes sense because he's telling you, like you said, about his traumatic past and his childhood and stuff. And sometimes it makes sense because we get to know him as a character. And sometimes he's just rambling on about life and you're just like, relax, dude. You okay? Oh, interesting. The book forces you to jump around and dive into things that don't seem to matter and make sense, forcing you to experience Johnny's mental state of spiraling. I like that. I like that a lot. That's beautifully put. Beautifully put. Okay. This also said, passageways encountered by individual members, even with only a glance, will never be re-encountered by anyone else again. And like you were saying, it leads you into Johnny's mental state, but it also does mirror the book as well, because there are a lot of things that Johnny says that I'm assuming are never going to come up again. Random girls that he sleeps with. He goes into so much detail about these random girls. And that's kind of the same as the book. Like you encounter something and then it changes and you never see that again, but it's still your experience with what happened. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Okay, 119. We get these blue squares. This is where our blue squares first pop up. Inside of these blue squares, sorry, I'm just making sure that you can see it because there's a lag on my camera. Dude, this is, oh, I probably need to fast forward. Yeah, okay. So this blue square right here. Inside of the blue square, it just says what that chamber that these people are exploring doesn't have. So it says, not only are there no hot air registers, return air vents, or radiators, cast iron or other, or cooling systems. And then it does this for multiple pages. It just goes on and tells you different things that it does not have. Drains, bathtubs, sinks, a cellular roof. I don't even know what that is. A raised floor. Projection signal. Christmas tree, art projector, just like everything that it doesn't have. Flash bars, flip flash, don't know what that is. Fast settings, colored fibered, reinforced, self-leveling, mortar, high strength, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you guys get the idea. It's just listing a bunch of random shit that's not found inside of that passageway. The house is always in blue, and these boxes are in blue. And from what I can tell, the only thing that are in blue in the text, I believe, are these boxes. And they're also, yeah, so I don't know if that's just to, what were we talking about on Patreon? We were saying that, maybe I wrote it in my notes. No, I don't think I did. Oh, well, it certainly mirrors Holloway's Descent, right? Because it's like a chamber and you go through it. But then if you look on this side, it's this text, but it's written backwards. So it's almost like going through these entryways and then turning back and seeing something different than what you saw originally. It is also disorienting, and the way that the pages are set up, it's set up like a labyrinth, right? It feels very like MC Escher painting-esque, where it's there to kind of make you feel disoriented, like these people who are experiencing this dive into this cave with no light, little food and water, no communication, blah 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 blah. Any other theories on the boxes? Nat, are you still here? I think didn't you say something about the boxes too, about the end of the boxes? But also, I do think that it's interesting too, because I don't know, does this show also like Zampano becoming unhinged as well? Because that doesn't need to be, it's just random shit that, like, no Christmas tree. Yeah, no shit. There's no Christmas tree in there. It's a cave attached to a house that shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? So it also made me question maybe Zampano becoming a bit unhinged, although we do get a footnote that says that Johnny did not say whether these changes of format were his own or Zampano. So I guess we don't fully know either. Oh, here we go. On 119, Holloway punches a hole in the house. The blue box represents the hole he literally punched into the box/house. Wait, when does he punch a hole? I don't remember that. 144. Also, this is where the footnotes become headache inducing as well. They're no longer in numerical order and they kind of just jump around. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, and so during this time, oh gosh, hopefully that you guys can still hear me. My bad. This is where, so they're going in for the fourth time. They're collecting samples. We get more of those signals. Requires compass and map. Compasses don't work in there. Oh, and they're using thread. They're using fishing line to find their way. It says thread has repeatedly served as a metaphor for an umbilical cord for life and for destiny. And then we also have the thread from the Minotaur and then the lines through all the red. So it's all cohesive. It's all there. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mentioned how one of the boxes was black and how it felt like it represented the passageway shifting, cutting off / trapping them in. Oh, I love that. That was perfect. Yes. I just finished that last night. So I hadn't had time to really think on it. And then I read what you said and I was like, oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, and I feel like that's again, you're gonna get out of it different things. I don't even remember him punching a hole in the wall, to be honest, but I was just thinking of it obviously represents the house in some capacity because house is blue and that's blue, and it's confusing. Oh yeah, and you also have this. You have this here, which is just talking about different architecture. So it goes along this way, pages, pages, pages of different architecture. And then you get to this page and you have a footnote here, which leads you to turn the book upside down and have a footnote here. And this, I believe it's just, is it names of people? Of course, it's impossible to consider any of this sort of construction where the homes, factories, shops, stores, department stores, markets, halls, museums, blah, 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 without paying homage to these people. So then it goes backwards and you just read names of people for pages, page after page after page after page. So I don't know if this is just here to indicate that whoever's writing this is obviously losing their fucking mind or what, but this happens quite often in this chapter. The footnotes are all over the place, all confusing. Nothing's in order. Footnotes, you'll read multiple pages this way, and then, like I said, you have to turn the book and read them a different way. There's also a section that's backwards, so I had to hold it up in the mirror and take a picture to be able to read it. It's very much so reminiscent of being trapped inside a labyrinth, you know? We do have some constants in this maze as well. We have temperature is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, give or take 8 degrees. Light is absent. It's complete silence except for a growl that emits every once in a while. There is no air movement, no breezes, no drafts, nothing. And you can't find true north because compasses don't work down there, which is kind of interesting that there's still some semblance of normality in a place that's so devoid of reality. So we're on the fourth descent. They're running out of food. They're assuming it's only going to take a certain amount of time, but obviously things don't go the way that it's supposed to. And then you have this signal here that says requires food and water, which, you know, it's funny. It's funny. They hear this growl. There's another symbol that says unable to proceed. And then it goes on here to describe individuals exposed to total darkness in an unknown space have suffered adverse psychological effects. And then we see that our main guy, Holloway, kind of lose his mind being trapped in here. Oh, interesting. The sections that are backwards with the blue in the blue box, you can hold it up to the light and see through like it's a hole. Oh, how fun. Well, it doesn't exactly line up, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, okay, cool. That's so neat. Yeah, see, that's something I didn't even consider either. Yeah. Oh, I have cat hair everywhere. Yep, can totally see that. That is, yeah, that's so fun. Okay, so Holloway starts losing his mind. He wants to just go off without any thread, any markers, and chase after this beast. So basically, he's thinking this whole time, I'm going to be rich and famous. I'm exploring this thing that's never been explored before. He's like naming the great room and stuff, thinking that he's going to be the one that garners fame from it. But as they're gone for this, I can't remember how long the trek is the fourth time, 7 days or whatever it is. They start running out of food. They start running out of water. They've made no discovery. They haven't gotten to the end of anything. They haven't found anything. Sure, they've collected samples. Sure, they've seen weird things, mostly darkness, but they haven't really gotten any conclusive anything. And so I think also, although it does talk about his exposure to total darkness and how that can have adverse psychological effects, I do also think that Holloway is kind of egotistical, and when he hears the growl, he's like, this is my chance. If I just get whatever it is that's growling, I'll be able to become rich and famous. And like I said, there's some power play going on between him and Navi. So I think that also has to play into it too. So he chases off after this growl. The two other men stay behind. Wax and what the fuck's the other guy's name? Jed or some shit? Jed. Oh, it is Jed. Jed? Okay, Jed and Wax stay behind, get back to the stairway. Holloway somehow ends up on top after running off into the darkness because, you know, it's like an MC Escher painting. He somehow ends up in front of them, thinks that he sees whatever's growling, shoots, and ends up shooting one of them. I can't remember. I think it's Wax that he shoots. Oh, and as they're going back to the staircase, they find that their neon markers that were left behind have been torn apart. A few of his buttons have vanished, strips of Velcro have fallen off his parka, shoelaces have shredded, forcing him to bind his boots together with duct tape. Even his pack frame has crumbled. And this is a quote from him. Like you stop thinking about something and it vanishes. Don't take nothing for granted here. And I thought that was also interesting too. It can also, like everything that happens, I feel like in this additional space in the house can be a metaphor for the characters. I feel like that's a good prime example. Whenever you stop thinking about something or about something, it vanishes. And also, this does end up happening to Johnny as well. He says a little bit later that his buttons on his pants have vanished and he doesn't know what happened to them. This book is so weird. Okay. Wait, where am I? 126. Okay. And I was thinking of metaphors for the house too. And I was thinking of this word. I think is it amartia? That the fatal flaw. It's used a lot in Greek mythology. But it doesn't exactly translate to a fatal flaw. It translates to miss the mark. And it's not that the person is a bad person, whoever has this fatal flaw. It's just these characteristics that kind of get the best of them. They're not inherently evil people in these stories, but there's just like some trait that leads to their demise in the story. And I was like, well, this could be true as well for all of the characters, because you have ego, you have power, you have lust. And I don't know, it just seems like everything is a metaphor for something else, you know? I feel like there's so much that you could get from that. Oh yeah, and then sew buttons, and then his buttons disappear. Didn't even think about that. See? Learning new stuff even now. Buttons are such a weird thing that keep popping up. Okay, I will keep an eye out for buttons. That's good to know. Yeah, I hadn't even made that connection that his buttons disappear and then he was spelling out buttons in his Morse code. You should. It's so fun. It's really fun. I'm having such a blast reading it. I really am. But yeah, I don't know. It all just seems like a metaphor inside a metaphor inside a metaphor. Yes, so that's why I wanted to read it with everybody, because I was like, well, if we read it slowly and we can talk about things, because you open the book and you look at it and you're like, how am I supposed to read that? That doesn't make any sense. But if you do it slowly and you take it slow and you figure it out, you know, you do. And then it's cool having these where you can, and having people who have read it before that can kind of guide you through it as well. The book is bigger on the inside. Yep, it's all a metaphor, my dudes. It's all a metaphor. Okay, why did I... Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, we also have an SOS. In the SOS chapter, they hear knocking on the wall. So after Wax is shot, Jed is just dragging him off in the darkness, no marker, no nothing, away from the shotgun, but also trying to make his way back to the stairway so that he can find a way out. And he's knocking on the walls, so that's what the knocking was. it also does say that the pattern does not even remotely resemble 3 short, 3 long, 3 short SOS signals heard by the Navid sends. So they're saying that when you hear the SOS knock, it sounds like SOS in the SOS chapter, but that when you hear Jed knocking in the film, that it does not remotely sound like an SOS, but it says the house itself not only carried the signal an incredible distance, but interpreted it as well. It's almost like the house is alive. Yeah. No, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. The house is, or I mean, the book is literally bigger on the inside than the cover, yeah. This is incredible. I can totally understand why it took somebody 10 years to, I mean, but it's just amazing that the human brain can come up with this, you know what I mean? How? How? We have more Johnny rambling. We have another warning sign, the emergency warning thing. It says require medical supplies. I don't know why I wrote that. Signals to lead the way through the text. Huh? Take better notes. Take better notes. What am I trying to say? Signals to lead the way through the text. What am I? Oh! I was saying that the emergency symbols, like the airplane symbols, are like signals to lead you through the text. That's what I was saying. Just took me a minute to understand what I was getting at. And then, yeah, you just have the rest of the chapter that's kind of designed like a labyrinth. It's just kind of, it's a little challenging to get through. But that's what's cool about this is, like, the SOS chapter was all about the SOS. The labyrinth chapter is all about reading like you're in a labyrinth. It's very cool. It's very awesome. I'm very impressed by this. You did have this quote as well. It says, in the future, readers of newspapers and magazines will probably view news pictures more as illustrations than as a report, since they will be well aware that you can no longer distinguish between a genuine image and one that has been manipulated. The credibility of all reproduced images will be diminished. In short, photography will not seem as real as it once was. I just thought that was kind of like a cool on the nose thing for now, you know, like reading this book 20 years later or however much longer. Yeah, I think it was written late 90s or early 2000s, right? And I feel like that's even more so true nowadays. So yeah, it was written in 2000 or published in 2000. So kind of cool. Oh, one thing. This, I have no idea. Maybe you guys have an idea on this. In this blue box here, so we get to the end of these random things that are not inside this place, and there's red text with a line through it, and it says, picture that in your dreams. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. And then you have one additional blue box, and then, like Nat was saying, the black box at the end, which kind of cuts you off. You also have this down here. This is, obviously, if you can tell, this is what I read last night, the last few pages, and I have not had a chance to analyze it. You have this cut out here in the middle of this text. Not sure why that's there. And then you have this cut out as well, which I'm not sure why that's like that either. Like I said, didn't get to analyze these as much as I would have liked to. So if anyone has theories on those, I would love to hear them. We have one last symbol, requires engineer. The haunting. I don't think this is the book that you're talking about. What book? When I type it in, it says, or maybe this is what you're talking about, by Natasha Preston. That book. Oh gosh, the page designs to come will blow your mind. All right, help me out here. Help me out here, Tainted Crimson, Tainted Crimson. With these last few things. What's up with this? Picture that in your dreams. And what's up with these, with this blank box too? What do you think? Or anyone else? Man, yeah, this editor must have been so annoyed. Does the labyrinth theme just... Is the labyrinth symbolic of the house? Yeah, but I think it's like multi-layered. I don't even know about those. Dang it. I'm gonna have to sit and stare at this page for like an hour and try to make meaning out of this. But I guess if this is like a change in passageway, this could also be that. The red stuff I'm not sure about. But I guess it could just be like, I don't know. Oh, well, the lines are cut, so it could mean they don't connect how they do on other pages. So it could mean like a disconnect of this lifeline. I'm just thinking out loud here. I have no idea about the picture this in your dreams, though. Maybe I'll post that on Instagram and see if anybody's read it. Have you noticed when the house has been changing? What do you mean? Like the inside of the house or the actual like normal part of the house? Or do you mean the like energy of the house? Because that's something else in the SOS chapter. Why I'm saying it's like multi-layered, because yes, it's designed as an SOS, but it's also telling you, hey, there's a problem here. Because in that chapter, everyone's very distant. No one's communicating with each other. Everyone's just in their own world. There are certain incidences have been occurring whenever the house has been physically changing. Oh, I don't know what that means. There are certain incidents that have been occurring when... Wait, give me a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly... Like, I want to know what to look out for, but I'm not sure exactly. There are certain incidences that have been... See, and this is another thing with being stuck on the little stuff, because I'm so into whatever I'm reading on the page that I'm looking more at the smaller stuff versus bigger scale. So I think also there's pros and cons to reading each way, you know? Like if you're reading more bigger picture, then I feel like you'll probably pick up on themes like this more. The house is influenced by the relationships within the family. Okay, yeah, that for sure makes sense. Okay, let me think on this for a second. So the house is influenced by, okay, so I'm gonna theorize that like in the times where things are going fine, let me know if this is what you mean. Oh, are you talking about The Haunting of Hill House? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, I think this is what you mean. So for example, there's some sort of camaraderie that's formed. I think it's when they do the third walk-in. There's some sort of, there's tension between Holloway and Navi still, but there's some sort of like, okay, let's get this done. And then nothing, there, it says there are negligible changes. Then you have Karen, who's kisses one of the guys. I don't even remember if it's Jed or Wax, but you do have like, you know, her infidelity, and you do have Navi wanting to go in the house more. So it seems like the more the characters draw apart, or like whatever metaphor you want to use, sink back into their old ways, you know, slide back into their old ways like the labyrinth, then that's what activates these changes more. Is that what you mean? But I'm glad that you did point that out, because it's not something that I had been... I mean, like, it's not something that was in the back of my head. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that I picked up, but I didn't... It's cool knowing that going forward, so I can keep that... I can keep that in mind when I'm going forward. Okay, cool. Yes, I have read The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I gotta be so honest with you. I probably need to reread that one again. I feel like there's a ton of that book that I missed as well. Also, pay attention to whenever you hear the monster. Okay, this is something that I considered too. So, for those of you that haven't read it, they hear this monster, whatever. And it is when Holloway's losing his mind, but it's also kind of hard to keep track of, because you get sucked off on all these different tangents that Johnny's complaining about screwing all these girls for 10 pages, and then it just throws you back in the middle of the story. And I'm like, I have no idea where I was before, but I will do a better job of paying attention moving forward. Oh, you know what? I don't think that there was an ending to that. I think that this chapter ends with them still being stuck inside. And I think we also don't know if they survive or not, because I'm not sure if we're getting physical evidence, like the cameras back from their descent. That doesn't necessarily mean they made it back, you know? So I think it's also, we don't know who's surviving. But yeah, Karen does kiss one of the guys. There's a lot more tension in the house. And with this SOS signal, you have Navi being like, I need to go back in. I don't care. And that causes, obviously, even more of a divide in their marriage as well. You have this part here that goes on to say that maybe there's some fictional elements within the story. And basically, it goes through all this stuff, you know, all these quotes and stuff. But then we get to the ending here that says, basically, there's no way that they could have afforded the CGI to create this like fictional story. So the last quote in here, it says, strangely then, the best argument for fact is the absolute unaffordability of fiction. But it's still something that gets put in your mind, like how much of this is true. And because we're so detached from the original story, we also don't know. It's not like we're the ones watching the tape. We're so removed from that. We also don't really know how accurate all of these things are. And we're being told by an unreliable narrator who's reading text of an unreliable narrator who supposedly watched this video even though he's blind. Like, how? None of this makes sense. Oh, this is also crazy. This is where he says, all the buttons on my corduroy coat are gone. Sorry, it's not his pants, it's a coat. And then we have two more emergency signals. Will attempt to take off and indicate direction to proceed. And that's where the chapter ends. That's where the chapter ends. Even though he's blind. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. None of this makes sense. None of it. See his descent? What? Oh, this was an interesting quote. We hear another account of Johnny screwing some girl. And it says that a few days later, he was listening to the radio and he heard the girl that he had just been with talking about him on the radio. this is our first encounter of someone else's perspective of Johnny, which I find interesting because he'll tell you, hey, I'm kind of losing my mind here. Things are weird, losing grip on reality, doing a bunch of drugs. But we don't know the extent of it. We never see the extent of it. But we have here, it says, she says, this guy in a real stale studio with books and writings everywhere, and weird drawings all over his walls too, all in black. I couldn't understand any of it. And then she said that he had dozed off only to start screaming and yelling terrible things in his sleep about blood and mutilation. So, not exactly what the information we're getting from Johnny. We see him kind of, in moments of madness, but this is a completely different perspective that we're seeing. And I do question if he's following in Navi's footsteps, because that's kind of how Zampano, because that's kind of how his house was when Johnny originally moved in. There were papers everywhere and writings everywhere, and he kind of collected them and tried to make sense of them. And it seems like they're both following in some sort of footstep. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about in this chapter? I can't believe we got through all of that. I guess it's because it's almost 3 o'clock now. I rambled for too long. I'm so sorry. I always think I can make things concise, and it just doesn't happen. But is there anything else you guys want to touch on? Anything else at all? Any questions that you had with the text? Or I think we're reading 80 pages? Questions, comments, concerns, anything? Okay, yeah. So I think we were reading about 80 pages, which would bring us around page 230. However, a lot of this is just blank pages, so I don't know. What are you thinking? Okay, so Zampano is blind. Like, he pictures what he writes like it's only in his mind. He often is not satisfied with the essay or the way the girl he hires are reading him. Yeah, for sure. Reading to him, yep. I don't think he's reliable either. 100%, yeah. Yeah, and we do get comments, and kind of Johnny goes out of his way to find these women, oftentimes sleeping with them, but that have read to Zampano. And he does give us a little bit more. So I feel like we do have a little bit more of Zampano's character than Johnny's. And I feel like we're just now getting a little bit more information on Johnny. And maybe that's my fault because I didn't read the letters with his mom. Okay, yeah, we can look at chapters. Let's see. I also just don't want to take on too much. And I'm okay having less to read next month, because I don't know if you guys have kept up with the back stuff, the letters and all that, but I have it quite a bit to keep up with, or like to go back and read. I have like the quotes, the letters, that kind of stuff. So let's see what 230. And actually, yeah, this is all like, there's barely anything on these pages, but maybe that's, I don't know, let us know. Is it something that we might need to sit and analyze more of, like how it's written kind of thing, the structure of the story? Is there more that goes into it? Or is it just we read 2 words on a page and move on? And I also don't want to read it too quickly either, but I don't know. You let me know. I promise. I swear to you, I will read the letters too. So next month, do you just want to read chapter 10? Or is that not enough? You guys let me know. I will do whatever. And I'm going to start keeping up with it instead of just pushing it off till the last second, because now I'm Now I'm invested. Now I'm interested. And again, some of this we read last time, so I don't know. But I feel like 2 chapters might be too much because that brings us to page 270. That's 40 more pages. I don't know. You guys let me know. But I will 100% read all the extra stuff. But for... I don't know. It's so hard to say because I don't know what's going on next. If you're planning for this to go to December, then you have time to read the letters and be able to focus on them instead of doing the exploration and text. Okay. I can definitely do at least 1 chapter. So do you guys want to just do up to just chapter 10 next time? It's going to be a super easy read for those of you who have already read the letter, but maybe you can think more about the structure of it. Because I can definitely get 1 chapter done and the letters done in the next month. And I feel like it won't be too much, so maybe next time we could do reading in the beginning and then talking about it, or do you think we'll need a full thing for the letters? Do you think we should separate the reading sprints and the letters? And chapter 10. Where's my calculator? Yeah, 233. So that would be right about what we were reading anyways. Maybe a little bit more. Chapter 10. Okay, cool. Let's do chapter 10 in the letters. And then I guess we'll play it by ear. If there's a lot to discuss, then we'll separate the reading sprints and... well, there probably will be. I mean, I talked for... My God, did I just talk your guys' ear off for 2 hours? I'm so sorry. I always think that these are going to go by fast, and then, geez. Okay, cool. The letters are a big thing to cover. Okay, so we'll separate them. We'll do chapter 10, we'll do the letters, and that'll be its own separate thing. And then we'll do reading sprints separately. Cool. And then... this time, Sundays at noon. Does that work for everyone? Okay, then I'm kind of glad I didn't get to the letters this time because I would have talked your ear off for 4 hours. So sometimes after these live streams, my voice hurts and I'm just so sick of listening to myself talk. So, okay, this is going to be so fun. So fun. I'm very excited to keep going. I am going to take a little bit of time off when my brother's in town. I think he'll be in town for like a week, and then I'm going to start right back up again. I will not wait for the last second to read this like I did last time, the last 2 times. And I promise to get the letters done. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys very much. That was really entertaining. That was really fun. I feel like I did most of the talking, so I apologize. I will try to come with more questions next time and make it more interactive. And then I'm also going to post on Instagram too, because I know a lot of people have already read the book. So I'll ask them some of the stuff that we don't know the answer to. I will certainly post it on Discord if I find answers or like people's theories. I know I could just Google, but I don't know. I'm hesitant to just Google and read other people's like full interpretations of something until I've read it first. But I'll post whatever I find from people on Discord and then remind me next time and we can talk about that as well. But otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I bet you'll never guess what I'm going to go and do. I'm going to get a boba and pick up our new couch and read for the rest of the day. I'm finishing hopefully the last session. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I would be, there's 100 things to Google on each page. Like, why is this set up that way? Or why is this color? Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. Well, I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend, long weekend, Monday too. And I will keep you posted on when the live streams will be. And thanks for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. It is. It's a really fun read. I've really enjoyed it so far. So thanks everyone, and I will see you. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.